So I have an announcement. Episode 132 of the podcast was the last episode to ever be recorded in this studio. So a lot of you know that when I started the Humanist Report podcast 2.5 years ago, I basically converted my gaming PC / my side of the office into a little mini studio. It looks like it's soundproof. I just put up acoustic foam to hide the holes in the walls. And now we're getting a new studio finally. I think it's safe to say that the podcast has grown to a point where we have to have basic things. We're going to have a real studio finally. And we're also going to increase our capabilities, technologically speaking, to make sure that we can do things that bigger networks can do. So we can actually do live streaming that are with streams where we have multiple people on that are more professional. We don't have to rely only on Google Hangouts. We're basically doing an upgrade that needed to happen probably a long time ago. I think that renting a studio, even though there's a lot of value in that, I think that's unnecessary because this is just independent media. It's a podcast. Really, the point of independent media is to keep it small scale. So I'm choosing to still keep it local, just turn a room in my house into a studio, but it's a full room now. It's not half a room. I don't have to worry about my cat sleeping against, the acoustic foam and having to take off all the cat hair every time before I film because my monitors are really warm. I don't have to worry about taking all the furniture out before I record and setting up the studio, putting the lights here that sometimes fall over on my head. We're going to have a real dedicated room for the Humanist Report, and now I'm going to convert that into a studio. Now, in terms of what do we do to get this, there's a lot of different options, looking to my brothers from Another Mother, Kyle Kalinske, David Packman. They did fundraising campaigns, and I think that that's really the way to go, although now I feel almost embarrassed asking for any type of money to do a fundraising campaign since media changed, right? Because now independent media shows like mine, we get the majority of our funding through Patreon and PayPal. It's viewer funded. YouTube doesn't account for the overwhelming majority of our revenue anymore. So to ask for more money, it feels selfish, right? It doesn't feel right. Even though it's for the show, it still feels weird. So I decided that if we're going to do a fundraising campaign, it's going to be bare necessities to get us what we need, the upgrades that we need to the set, to the equipment. So what is it that we need to fund the brand new studio?
$1 million.
$10,000. Now, with $10,000, the overwhelming majority of that will cover the cost of software for live streaming. It will cover the cost of a new camera. I'm still keeping the camera that you're using. It'll just be a secondary camera, so we have different angles, but we need a new upgraded camera, certainly, with at least a good autofocus feature, since I'm the only one. This is a one-man crew. So if I go out of focus, I don't know until I am done filming and edit. It would pay for a new desk, so that way I actually have a space to put my hands when I film, because I don't know what to do with my hands currently. It would go towards production gear, new equipment that we've desperately needed, like studio lights that don't suck, that won't fall over. So that means mounting brackets, so that way we can put them up on the walls, a camera matte box, a field monitor so I can see the shot, friction arms so I can attach different accessories like boom mics to the microphone. We need more data storage. These are just little things that will really make a huge difference. Now, we're not going to see a set that looks like the Young Turks or CNN. It's going to look about, a little bit different than this set, but it's going to be an upgrade. Really, this is streamlining the production process for myself. So to make sure I can connect the microphone directly to the camera, so I don't have to worry about going in post-production and syncing up the audio with the video and doing that, make sure I name the files right so I don't get them mixed up. Basically making it easier to record so I can do more of the Humanist Report. And even potentially setting up another space in that same room so we can have in-studio guests. Now, we have to be realistic about this. I'm in Oregon. People don't really travel to Oregon much. I mean, if the studio was in Los Angeles or New York, that would make it, it would make sense. So I'm not going to focus too much on that. That's not my priority. But really, I want to make sure that we have a studio that just functions properly, that streamlines production, that makes it easier for me to get news to you faster and at a better quality. So with $10,000, we can accomplish that goal. Now, this is what I like to refer to as Studio 1.0, where I just started with the acoustic foam in the background. And now we are moving on to what I'd like to call Studio 3.0. So I drew a mock-up of what I think Studio 3.0 will probably look like, although this is indefinite. And this is what I came up with. This is what I came up with. And I'm looking at it again, and I'm just really proud of my work here. So as you can see, on the right-hand side, you see the acoustic foam, and I'm still, going to position myself kitty corner so I have more room behind me so I don't trip over wires and whatnot. But there's going to be the acoustic foam. We're going to have a vertical television, and that's going to, that's going to show the logo of the Humanist Report. And ideally, I want to get Skype conversations on there so that way if I'm talking to someone, if I'm interviewing someone running for Congress, then I can put their face on there. Now, probably a 3D textured wallpaper of some sort. I'm thinking bricks, but I'm not sure. And really, the studio needs to be personalized. We've got to have some books, maybe from Progressives, Manufacturing Consent, Listen Liberal, Bernie Sanders books, of course. This is kind of what this studio will look like. And again, I think I did a phenomenal job depicting myself. That beard is just, it's on point. So that's basically what we're going for. A $10,000 studio that will allow us to increase the quality of video. Audio quality will stay the same. Video quality will go up. It's not going to be 4K, but it still will be better quality. But overall, make production a lot easier. So this is mostly back-end stuff and something different for you guys to look at, because I think that this set, even though it works, it's a little bit plain. So I'm just going to go in and make it a little bit nicer. And it's not going to cost that much money to do it. So with $10,000, that's more than enough to make sure that we get all the new studio equipment that we need. But even if we raise half of that, for example, I think that's a huge win. And that gives us a lot of the stuff we need for a banging studio. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. So I'm going to link down below to our GoFundMe campaign. Basically, if we can raise $10,000, we will have a great studio that will suit our needs for years to come. So you can support us by visiting the GoFundMe link and help fund a new studio. Now look, heads up, that means that since I'm building a new studio, I'm not going to be in a regular studio. So I'm going to basically film in front of a wall for a couple of weeks until that's finished. But when we have the new studio, it's going to be really exciting. And of course, I do a studio tour like Kyle Kulinski did, because that's all just exciting stuff. And a lot of this stuff, understand, I'm going to be making myself too and working in myself. We're going to use all these, the acoustic foam. We're putting that in the new studio. We're going to make sure we spend as little money as possible. Because again, we're already being supported through Patreon, and this is also a political or a midterm year. So I want people to also donate to politicians. I don't want to suck up all the life out of the room, if you don't have much money to spare. So look, anything that you can donate, $1, $2, $10, $27, it's all going to go directly to this new studio. And I am incredibly excited because the vision in my head, if it comes to fruition, I think that it's going to look really great. I just did this. But look, I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited about the new studio. It really will take the Humanist Report to the next level. I mean, we're never going to be mainstream media level, but it's going to be damn good, in my opinion anyways. But what really matters is content, and this just takes us to the next level. So to anyone who does donate, thank you so much. I'll be giving you updates on our progress. So yeah, new studio, here we come, middle of March.
Support this podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Report.